I'm in the garden this morning just doing my normal rounds, watering everything really heavy. It's been really hot here in Florida. But as I was walking around, I just realized that this would be a great time for a garden tour. So I'm gonna give y'all a look at my spring summer garden. Getting into summer now because all the flowers are blooming. So it's beautiful right now and I wanted to share it with y'all. I'm gonna have so many sunflowers. These are really beautiful. This is an autumn sunflower and it came out a lighter shade this year, so I think that's interesting. I think I've got a cross from something. All of these sunflowers were seeds that I saved from last year, so got some sweet potatoes. Let's take a walk back here and see more flowers. Oh, golly. They're so beautiful. This is a row of peanuts that I just started. Seed from last year. It came up a little sparse, but I think I'm going to fill in these gaps to get a nice full row of peanuts. Got a row of bush beans here. They need picking. They're doing okay. And then back here on the trellis, I've got some yard-long beans. I think I may harvest some of these today. They are ready. Sunflowers act as a great trap crop. If you'll see here, hanging out on the stems. So you can basically come by and pick these guys off and put them right in a bucket. Yard-long beans are great to grow in Florida. As you can see, they are doing much better than these bush green beans. Got to get them bush green beans in the ground early in summer. It's just really hot. They don't like that heat. Gosh. So pretty. I think I may cut a few of those, see if they're ready. Oh yeah. I've got a Seminole pumpkin right here, which normally does pretty good. This one has really been struggling in the heat, so I've had to water it every day. And I think also I might need to give it a little boost with some type of nutrients. It's growing right here next to a giant sunflower. So that sunflower could be stealing some of the nutrients away from this Seminole pumpkin. So I'm going to give it a dose of swamp water today and see if it'll perk up just a little bit. The orange bulldog pumpkin. You can harvest them early to eat like a squash, or you can let them fully ripen and mature and they will hollow out a little bit, and you can even use them as a carving pumpkin. So I'm super excited about these. That one didn't come up, so I just plugged another one in there yesterday. Now this mulch that they're growing in, it's actually pine shavings, but it is pine shavings that was in a meat chicken brooder for about 2 weeks. I usually compost it down and then add it to my garden, but just as an experiment, since these pumpkins are going to be heavy feeders, I decided to go ahead and just plant them in this meat chicken brooder mulch. Back here for a cover crop and a little harvest, I planted some zipper peas. Just put those in the ground yesterday, so got to make sure I keep them good and watered in this heat. Just put some okra in back here. This part of my garden I really struggle with. You can see all the grass. So it's kind of tough, but okra's pretty hardy. So put a row back in here. I only had one come up, so I went ahead and filled the rest of the row in yesterday. Right here, this popped up this year. I believe that's amaranth. I grew that back here on this row several years ago, and that popped up this year. And another row of peanuts. Peanuts grow really well here in the heat. They get nice and big and bushy, so they act as a great cover crop. Once they bush out, they will really shade all of this mulch right here. So keep that grass back. That's a chore. Got a fig here that's starting to produce. And a tiny row of blueberry bushes. But unfortunately, a couple of them are getting this blight on them. So, see, there's another one that has blight on it. It's a bummer. My arch trellis, which has a little shade cloth over it. Tomatoes are doing really great this year. Really happy with what we've gotten so far. And so in the middle of my arch trellis here, I did a row of cucumbers. So I'm using these tomato hooks to grow them just straight up the center of the arch. There's some dill that's going to seed here. This also volunteered right here, which is why I also wanted to plant cucumbers right there. Dill and cucumbers are really good companion plants. The dill really helps keep the pickle worms down. I still have some, but they're not near as bad. So I'll be sprinkling this dill seed everywhere. Over here I've got more rows of tomatoes. I always do lots of tomatoes. My tomatoes are growing vertically right up a string. And again, I'm just using these tomato hooks. Walk around here so y'all can see the cable. So I have a post installed right in the middle of my garden, and I have cables. My husband did this for me. It's amazing. He drew a hole through there and ran cables to other posts so I can just grow my tomatoes right up, hook them on there. As they get longer, you can move them down the line. See, this one is hanging here, but it's planted all the way over here. This has been a favorite this year. This is the Lemon Boy tomato. And growing right behind it, we have Indigo Suns. Still getting lots of blooms, lots of fruit set, even though it's been really hot. Here in Florida, your cherry tomatoes are going to do better. They're going to set more fruit in the heat. Like, see, all these are a cherry tomato variety, and you can see they've got plenty of blooms on them. This plant, however, is a larger slicer tomato, and it does not have many blooms on it. It's just too hot. On the other side of my arch trellis, these are starting to hit the shade cloth up here, so I wish I could get that shade cloth a little bit higher. I may try to figure out some kind of an extension. I don't know. All right, behind me here, got some arugula. Sweetie drop pepper. Some scallop squash. And we always do lots of peppers. These right here are shishito peppers. And I've already harvested off of these this morning. They're just loaded. They do so well here. Another bed over here. I've got more scallop squash, which is starting to be on its tail end. You can see it's starting to look a little rough now. The production's starting to slow, but I've gotten a ton of scallop squash off of them already, so I've been happy with that. More peppers over here. Got some nice big jalapenos. And a little cucumber arch. You can see a couple little cucumbers there. And then these squash plants are ready to get pulled out. I've gotten a ton of scallop squash off of these guys, but you can see they are just about done. More peppers. Got some poblanos and some serranos and more shishitos. All right, y'all. That's a quick look at my spring and summer garden. It's not perfect. We've got lots of weeds and lots of grass, but we're also getting a lot of beautifulness coming out of the garden right now. We're definitely enjoying it and super thankful for what we have. So, hope y'all had fun walking around the garden.